What's up everybody, it's Stuck in Carbonite, and today I am finally making this video. I tried last week, the video was too long. For some reason I couldn't transfer the video file to make it work. I couldn't upload it. I was having so many issues, so I had to scrap it all and start fresh. And I hate that that happened, but maybe, in the future I can do like detailed run-throughs of certain areas of the book if you people are interested. But just to follow up, if you've been watching any of my videos, if you watch my Comic-Con video and my hauls and everything I got, this is what was in the giant box. So I'm super excited to announce that I am actually reviewing this, and just just saying this up front, I don't think that my video will do this book justice. Like, you really have to see it for yourself. But this is The Art of G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero, the Omnibus hardcover. So this is from 3DJOES. I met Carson Metaxas at the Comic-Con I went to, spoke with him a lot, actually got to see the book first in person there. And, we talked a lot about basically how in-depth this book was, what all went into the research, gathering all the pieces of artwork, the interviews, the great links he had to go to, as well as, everybody else who worked on the book to make this thing a reality. And to actually have this in hand, it is quite amazing. And I must say, I am more than happy with this purchase. But anyways, guys, I'm gonna quit yapping. This is the front of the hardcover. So it comes in this giant case, and it almost reminds me of like a figure case, because at the top it says "Open here." It's got a magnetic flap that you just pull up. And just so you know, this book is about like 20 pounds, but has a really, really nice casing. Then you got an image on the back, just kind of showing you what's all encased in the book, and it's letting you know that there's a digipack coming out soon. And if I'm not mistaken, that should be out now or out in June, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I plan on buying that as well. So I think it's $30, and you get a bunch of Blu-ray or DVD disc, and you can watch basically all of the interviews and see everything for yourself. It's just really, really astonishing what we got here, folks. But anyways, that's the cover, and that's the introduction. So let's get into this book. I will say apologies again for the filming. I'm literally working with an iPhone and an Amazon camera stand. So yeah, trying to figure this out has been quite interesting, especially since my last video. I'm kind of learning different things. But anyways, we're gonna open up this book from that pull tab, and look at that. So whenever you open it up, and I'm going to pan over so you can see it, so sorry guys, but look at that, just the attention to detail. So these characters, if I'm not mistaken, I think it represents some of their favorites, or who they basically kind of relate to the most. So I know Carson, he explained to me why his guy is Falcon. I get that. So yeah, I think this is really neat, a very neat and creative way to kind of show off them, to actually put the creators within, the box, and kind of show them off, let them know what they did for the book. So really neat. And then let's move back over here. Sorry, guys. So right here, as soon as you open up this case, you will get this awesome folder. And I believe this promo image was from 1986, if I'm not mistaken, or 87, one of those years. It's one of Carson's favorites, if I'm not mistaken. Me and him talked about it a little bit, but really nice. And just so you know, the quality of all these prints on everything is just absolutely amazing. But this is all of the prints that come with the book. So if you buy the book, I think what happened during this crowdfund project is they had a backer's choice. So all the backers could pick 12 prints, and they did like a vote. Whoever won that vote was going to be added into the folder. Then you also have the editor's choice. All the people that worked on the book, this is the 12 that they chose. So very neat. But we will go through this folder at the end of the video, and I'll show you all of the prints. So yeah, I think that it's very nice that they did that, because he also, or at for some time. I think he's going to reopen the store here soon. But 3D.JOES did a lot of posters, and I've always wanted one of their posters. I need to get on that. But anyways, guys, there's this little pull tab right here to pick up this 20-pound book because it's just sitting in this giant case. So I'm just going to be very careful here. Lift up, get the book out, and I'll set it right here for now. Massive. And then back on this side is all of the legends that have worked on G.I. Joe that have been interviewed or their information has been gathered, in this book. So some of these names you'll see that are familiar, like especially like Larry Hama, Ron Rudett, maybe Mark Pennington. A lot of these guys did a lot for the brand, and if you're a real fan of Joe, you know each and every one of these guys. So yeah, very cool to have them, included in this book with characters that they love. So yeah. Let's take a look at that book. All right, so here is the cover with this beautiful image that we have up here, early 80s. I really dig that. So that's cool. And then on the side, you have Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow looking awesome as always. And in the back is what I really appreciate is this image right here. I don't know whose idea it was to get like this collage of characters, but I love it. It's so out there and there's so many colors. It's very vibrant and it just flows very nicely. I think that this fully represents like what to expect from the book, and I'm glad they put this on the back of the cover because it's literally like 82 all the way up to towards the end of the brand, where we have Cesspool, where that's when we started getting into the neon eco warriors type stuff. So yeah, really nice, and I think this image is very well done. Whoever painted, drew, or digitally did this mashup, however they did it, kudos to you. Looks awesome. But anyways, guys, let's get into this book. I know I just keep yapping, but I'm sorry, guys. I'm super excited about this. So yeah, this is probably one of the coolest things about this book is, I didn't grow up in the 80s. I'm very what's the word I would say, like new to Joe as compared to a lot of people that would buy this book. And I don't have much vintage, G.I. Joe stuff. I really only have like a handful of vintage figures, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, only 2 vintage vehicles. I have an APC and a Wolverine. So if that lets you know anything, it's not that I don't care about G.I. Joe. I love G.I. Joe. It's just vintage is not my priority. Kind of like Star Wars. I love Star Wars, but vintage is not my priority. But one thing I will tell you is I have always appreciated A Real American Hero, the original toy line from 1982 to 1994. There have been so many awesome releases, and I think that this just shows the true passion behind this project because these photos are from the backers who wanted to see this book come to life. So this is birthday parties, Christmas. These are kids getting the toys of the things that they love to see on TV and their comic books. Like this is G.I. Joe to me. So even though, I didn't grow up with a Snowcat or a freaking Hydrofoil or a USS Flag, like this brings me back to moments when I was a kid, not just G.I. Joe, but, G.I. Joe included, but like whenever, that childlike wonder of like, what would it be like if I had this toy? Like what are all the stories I could tell with these toys? You know what I mean? And this just really speaks volumes to me, and I think it's really cool that they showed that because this is real. This is people and their experience with G.I. Joe. So yeah, really cool. So yeah, as soon as you open up the book, you get the credits, who all worked on the book. And you get this wonderful image right here, and you get a foreword from Mr. Kirk Bazigian. If you don't know him, he was the A Real American Hero brand manager at the time from 82 to 95. So yeah, a very important figure within the G.I. Joe realm. So, you start off basically in order, and, there's the introduction from Carson there. But, you go from 82 all the way to 94, and everything is in order. Everything's in order from release. So and I'll show you. So on the side of the pages here, I won't zoom in just for the sake of keeping everything in frame. But you have the dates right here on the side of the page with this green border, and it'll take you all the way to 95. So all the way up to that point. So I think that's very neat. But I'll try to keep it quick, but I'll flip through different years so you kind of see what you're getting into. Basically, the start of each year, you will get a full image of a character in the package and underneath their file card. So, like, I know that we have the internet, but if you just wanted a quick reference, this is awesome. Like, you can just pull it off the table, open it up, and say, I wonder what, Zap's specialty is. Obviously, it's here on his file card, but, like, if you just had that, that question pop up in your head, you could just open up the book and kind of see what's up. But, like, it even has the variants. So, if you didn't know, Zap had 2 variants with the bazooka. One had 2 handles, one had 1 handle. So, yeah, it's neat to have every variation. It also has basically the explanation of flag points, what all you could use your flag points for back in the day. In this book, it's not just figures and vehicles. You basically get all of the catalog art. Like right here, this is an image that would have been like it's on your thermos, on your lunchbox. This is neat. You get stuff like that, like party supplies, Halloween costumes, and you also get deep dives on like how some characters were designed, and maybe how they came to be and where the inspiration was taken from. So there's that collector display case that came out in '82, which is basically what the the case that they made for this book is based off of. Just really, really neat stuff. So, here's Hector Garrido. If you don't know him, he did a lot of work. A lot of the famous artwork you see for a lot of these vehicles and characters was him as well. So, now we're getting into '83, and, we just get more and more into depth with everything that came out of that time. And also, after you get past the figures and vehicles and whatnot, they'll have these full-blown images of certain characters, and I think that is very neat. So, this is one of my favorite things about the book, too, is when I opened it, I was not expecting to see this. But, there was art for these things. So, these are like the storybooks. You know what I mean? So, like, we also get the storybooks in there, where kids would just play their, records and cassette tapes along and read their books. We also get like posters, you get catalog art, just a lot of neat stuff. And there's one of my favorites, the APC. That's one of the only vintage vehicles I have. But look at this stuff. You also get like pictures of puzzles. Like here's some of those the records and tapes. The little I literally just said it. The storybooks. Yeah. So there's one of those. You get 84. Really cool stuff. 2 great images right there of 2 awesome characters. But it's really neat, guys. If you're a fan of G.I. Joe, I think this is like a must-have. And like honestly, from whatever era you grew up in with G.I. Joe, like I really don't think you'll be disappointed. But like some of these pages with the vehicles, man, this is so cool how they do this. You unfold the page like for the bigger vehicles, like there's the whale. You have to fold the page back to get the full image. I think that is sweet. And they do that a lot with the bigger vehicles like the Flag, the Terrordrome, stuff like that. There's even more of those storybooks. Now we're getting into 85. A lot of stuff in 85. Really great year for Joe. I really think like all throughout the 80s, Joe was just, they were cooking. They had some awesome stuff lined up for G.I. Joe in those years. This is where it all started, and that's where I get the appreciation. There's the Armadillo and the All Striker. I'm more of a fan of the Armadillo, but I like both. And this is cool too. Like they even have the exclusive. So that's the Sears exclusive Mobat. They called it the Crimson Attack Tank, the Cat. That was the all black with the red accents. That tank was super cool. If I had the money for it, I would get it. Then you also have that red Hiss tank that came out back in the day. We got the Silver Mirage and the Mobat, 2 great vehicles. Snowcat, underrated. And, even the little stuff. So these are like your little accessory packs that they did back in the 80s. I think these are awesome. So, very cool stuff. And, since we landed on the page, I got to show it off. So, this is one of my favorite pieces of G.I. Joe artwork. For some reason, this just screams the 80s to me just screams G.I. Joe. So you get a bunch of characters, yo-joeing it out over there. So if I'm not mistaken, that was promotional material from a magazine. So yeah, great to have that. So there's also some of those puzzles I was talking about, and even the freaking board game and the Commando Attack game. Yeah, that's the name of it. Sorry, I'm shaking that camera a little bit. But like even little stuff like that, it's all in here. And this is neat. This is showing you basically like what your flag points can be used for, how you could, basically send off some flag points in the mail and a check or some money so you can get your G.I. Joe hats, your shirts, your dog tags, whatever it may be. Very neat. Very neat. Oh, and there he is. There's Steel Brigade. That is you. If you wanted to be a G.I. Joe, he could be anybody. He had a mask. And there's like freaking, was it 4 different versions of the original Steel Brigade figure, different variations. There's Lowlight, one of my personal favorites. But yeah, you just keep going through this book and you could be lost for hours. There's just so much stuff. Oh, there's the Special Mission Team Brazil. And then like even this, I mean, it's literally every piece of artwork. So you get the freaking G.I. Joe cereal, man. So there's Starduster and Duke. Very neat. You even get some of the images from the original commercial. It is, I mean, honestly, like there's some things, like even if you're a diehard fan of G.I. Joe, there's some things that you'll look in here and say, oh my gosh, I forgot about that. Or I didn't even know that existed. It's just really neat. And you also get, the G.I. Joe movie. You get that little tidbit in here and a little bit of cartoon art that looks very neat. There's version 2 Roadblock. Get some different designs for the cartoon art. That's really cool. But yeah, you just keep going through this and hold up. That's the Viper. Goated trooper. But yeah, I mean, like you look through this stuff and you get like these artist profiles as well. So this is Guy Cassiday's artist profile, and it's very, very cool to read through this. You'll learn a lot. But like I was saying, you go through this book and you could be lost for hours and hours, just either staring at the pictures and wishing you had all these vehicles, or thinking about the times you were a kid. Or if you do have all these vehicles, you're just looking at it, just admiring everything about it. All the hard work that went into bringing this toy line to life. So yeah, I'm just kind of flipping through, guys. I know that like last time I spent like 30 minutes in front of this book, and I have to cut it down time-wise so this will upload. But I'm trying to go through it as fast as possible to show you as much as I can. So as we're going, further and further, this in '87, this is your Battle Force 2000. I guess this was the start of the crazy before they went all out, with the neon stuff. You got some of the G.I. Joe movie figures, Slaughter's Renegades and the Cobra Law team. And this is really cool. This is Ron Rudat's concept design for Pythona before the G.I. Joe movie came out. So very cool. Like it's kind of neat to see stuff like that, Let's see. And if we keep going, I think this is cool seeing all these blown up images. Cobra Mamba, Cobra Mamba. Yeah, very cool to see all that stuff. That's a Defiant. Yeah, everybody loves that one, right? Mobile Command Center, a.k.a. the Sandcrawler. That is super cool. I wish I had that. But yeah, there's your Battle Force 2000 stuff. And, once you get to the late 80s, that's whenever they were trying to introduce a lot more different things. That's when we were getting into all of our sub teams. And, that's where you get all your repaints. And it's a very, I would say, controversial time for G.I. Joe. But I think that as we're getting older, I think a lot of people actually appreciate it. And also, like, this was cool because you also had some really, like, out there figures, too, as well. Like the Hydro Viper. Totally wicked, like, artwork, color scheme. But, like, look how cool that guy looks. Underwater Elite Trooper. Freaking awesome. Like Toxo Viper, I love that one as well. There's Voltar, Destro's General from Battle Force 2000, the Iron Grenadiers. So, yeah, very, very neat stuff. Look at that. You get some Sergeant Slaughter goodness right there. There's the Cobra Bug. I think that's a very, very underrated vehicle, in my opinion. very out there design. There's Rolling Thunder, a lot of cool stuff. So there's the Demon, but this is where we start all the sub team stuff. Like there's Night Force. It's probably some of the coolest repaints G.I. Joe ever did. Very neat stuff. Then we got there's some Tiger Force goodness. And then, the late 80s, probably right around 1990s when, we start getting, the crazy stuff. So there's your Python Patrol, which I actually really enjoy. I think the colors work. There's your Slaughters, Marauders. That's when the vehicles start getting even crazier. More Night Force. There's your Slaughters, Marauders vehicles, which honestly, hear me out. I think this is the best thing Slaughters, Marauders did was their vehicles. They took already existing molds, added extra cannons, whatever it may be. They kind of like kit bashed their own vehicles that they made previously. And honestly, I think the color scheme works. It looks very neat. I love it. We get a little bit further, trying to get into the 90s stuff where we get into the neon goodness. So, okay, well, before we get there, since I just landed on it, the General, super underrated in my opinion. I know a lot of people love this set, but I don't think it gets enough recognition as it deserves. Very awesome playset. If honestly, if I had the funds, I'd have one. There's the Locust. But yeah, so this is pretty neat. Yeah, so this is the 90s, and I think it's neat to kind of look back at this stuff because it really shows the time. If you look at the early 80s, you get all that standard military green, get to the 90s, and it's all just pop color everywhere, and I think it totally explains itself. But yeah, really neat stuff, guys. There's the Eco Warriors. That's that crazy stuff I was talking about. But I mean, really cool imagery here. Oh, there's the Battle Wagon. That's cool. So I mean, even though there's certain eras of G.I. Joe that some people don't like, I think one thing that we don't understand is some people grew up with this and this was their G.I. Joe. So you can call it bias or whatever, but they have an attachment to this era. So a 90s kid who didn't really play with Joes in the 80s might think that this is G.I. Joe, much like kids my age who like the movies. If they like the live action movies, that's their version of G.I. Joe. And, I think it's regardless of what we think of certain aspects of media, I think that, it's something definitely to commemorate, to acknowledge and look at all the hard work that was put into the designs of these characters. Because if it wasn't for, this first run from 82 to 94, I mean, I don't think G.I. Joe would be nowhere near as what it is today. And yeah, 92 and 93 was a weird time. Ninja Force was kind of wacky, but Slice, Dice, Iconic, Nunchuck. Do I even have to say more? Cool characters. Overkill, ridiculous looking, ridiculous bat leader. I mean, I love it though. I freaking love it. And then there's those, what were they called? The backpacks with all the action features, but those were weird. Oh man, but yeah, really cool images right here. So look at that, the Snake Eyes battle gear set. That's cool to see that. But yeah, really neat stuff, guys. So I'm just gonna kind of show off this last little bit that started in 1993 with the Mega Marines and the monsters. That's where I think they just kind of lost it. The bad guys became aliens. They started going to outer space. Ridiculous stuff. The Street Fighter figures, that was probably the coolest thing of this time. And then you got Star Brigade. Just ridiculous designs. Some of the vehicles actually look cool. But, they started straying further and further away from what was grounded military stuff to just absolutely ridiculous sci-fi, full-blown just ridiculousness. But, it's cool, though. Seeing all this, the designs is awesome. It might not feel like G.I. Joe, but it still looks cool. You know what I mean? So, yeah, very awesome to see all of this artwork, in full. And to be able to flip through this book and kind of show you guys. But, yeah, that pretty much does it for the book. It ends with a awesome dedication to Carson's father. Thank you for your service, sir. It's well appreciated, and thank you for encouraging and motivating, your son to get into this, you know, I mean, and to kind of be the spark that lit the fire for his love for G.I. Joe. So yeah, really cool to see that in here. And little images here. Let's see. And then here's all of your Kickstarter backers. Everyone's listed here. Very cool to see that. And if I'm not mistaken, if we pull this back, we will get more images of kids opening all of their awesome G.I. Joe goodness. Right there is pretty sick. That's the what was it? What was it? This guy's pile of loot was cool because it wasn't just G.I. Joe. It looks like there's a Return of the Jedi ATST, and I think it was Blue Streak Transformers. So yeah, really cool to see that. But anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed me going through this book, and I'll give my final thoughts after I show you guys those pretty sick prints. So we'll be right back. All right, guys. So laid out on the table here, I have all of the Backer's Choice prints. So all of these prints are 11 by 14, and I must say the print quality is astonishing. These all look phenomenal, and they just look clean, man. So if you want these hung up in your, collection room, I think these are perfect. You could probably buy some really cheap frames for them and make them really pop. Just seeing the artwork from, Hector Garrido and Ron Rudat, even the unknown people, like from this piece here, To the Rescue poster from the early 80s. I think that these all just look great, and really awesome to have all these. And I'll kind of go in order here. So there's the Stars and Stripes Forever. Sorry about that cord, guys. We got Destro, my personal favorite Cobra villain. We got the Baroness, Storm Shadow, another favorite of mine. Look at that. The Viper, the Killer Whale, probably everybody's favorite Joe vehicle. The Water Moccasin. There's my favorite catalog art right there. Pretty sick. To the Rescue. And then here's Snake Eyes. I couldn't really fit them all, but, we'll show all Snake Eyes because, everybody loves Snake Eyes, right? So there's 85, Ninja Commando. And then there is Goggles, Snake Eyes, which I am a huge fan of. But, yeah, so there's all of your Backer's Choice prints here, and we'll go into the Editor's Choice, and yeah. All right, guys, so here's all of the Editor's Choice prints, and I must say I'm extremely happy with the ones that they chose, because not all of these are like super well known. Whenever you think of or at least whenever I look at G.I. Joe, I think of stuff from the Backer's Choice. I think of stuff like that. And really cool to see some of the ones they chose here. Some underrated gems, in my opinion, and even unproduced stuff like that one image from Doug Hart. So yeah, really cool to see this. I love the characters they chose. Spirit, another personal favorite of mine. I love Scrap Iron. Love Blowtorch, one of my favorite figures. Snow Job, another great figure for me as well. Just his accessories, the gear, his look, top notch. Cesspool, probably the best thing to come out of Eco Warriors. Definitely not my most favorite time of Joe, but just the look of that guy is awesome. Up here, we have that Tycho train set from '83. So yeah, really cool to see that image. There's that image of the General we got to see. Really sick. Love that. What was this? The Fool's Gold cover. That was a cool little image there. Space Battle. Then we get the Cobra Battle Gear accessory pack where we get Voltar and Road Pig, some great characters. Peep Shockwave in the back. There's that 87 catalog art from Doug Hart. Really cool. Really nice looking. There's Outback in there. You love Outback. And the Cobra Mamba. Cobra Mamba. I hope somebody gets that. Then this is, I think this was from a puzzle. In 1990. Yeah, mural puzzle. So yeah, this is that awesome image, just a huge battle, really awesome. And yeah, then there's that unreleased artwork right there from that unreleased set. So yeah, there's all of the artist prints. Well, guys, I believe that'll do it for the review/overview of the book. I know that my video doesn't do this justice entirely. I just really wanted to make a video talking about it because I am so stoked to finally have this and to be able to go through it and share it with other people that may not know that this exists. I feel like if you're a fan of G.I. Joe, this is almost like a must-have. I know that whenever I saw it, I was like, I got to get my hands on it. Even though I don't have a lot of vintage, I know a lot of stuff about it. Even though I didn't grow up with it, I love it and appreciate it. This is the stuff I saw in the cartoons and the comics, the countless hours I've spent on YouTube growing up and watching reviews on these vehicles and these figures. You know what I mean? This is stuff that I really, really enjoy. And I just wanted to share it with you guys because my passion for G.I. Joe, like many of you other fans, is just immense. And I feel like G.I. Joe deserves, every chance it gets for something new. And I think what Carson and Chad did, give yourself, a round of applause, guys, for what you guys did, and everybody else that you had that worked on this book to make this thing come to life is truly amazing. All of the hard work, the blood, sweat, and tears that went into this project. I mean, this is over almost a decade's worth of work here, guys. I just think it's phenomenal. It's perfect, and there's nothing I would change about this. If you want something like this, not something like this, there's only one version of it. If you want this omnibus, it is $150. And that sounds steep, guys. It really does. But just really take into consideration what all you get. This book with these prints, like the quality, the level of quality is just perfect, okay? And you got to think, to be able to print this many pages and to be able to get this nice fancy case and this nice fancy cover, it costs a lot. So $150 I think is more than fair for a 20-pound book, and you also get the prints. You get the prints that you can hang up in your room wherever. So I think $150 is more than fair. I think that, if you really want one, the time to get it is now. The first run of the omnibus that he did, which is not this giant one, but when he had it in smaller volumes, they sold out within a year and a half. This thing, we're getting closer and closer to a year. And I think there was only 8,400 copies made. So if you want to get your hands on one, I wouldn't doubt it, okay? Like, I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't, worry about it too much. Just get your hands on one. You'll be extremely happy. But anyways, guys, I hope all you G.I. Joe fans appreciated this one. I know I just really love this book. If there's any questions you have on it, or anything you'd like to add in the comments, please feel free to share. I'll try to get back to you to the best of my ability. And, I really, really, really hope you guys really take into consideration of, getting this book, because I really think you will really love it, especially if you're a huge fan of G.I. Joe. So yeah, guys, I believe that does it. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for all the support, and thank you for being extremely patient with me with all of my technical issues and not getting this video out 3 weeks ago. But anyways, guys, y'all have a blessed one, and stay frosty.